Hello, everyone. This is Ellie Perlman, your host, broadcasting from Providence, Rhode Island. Today, I'm talking with a very energetic and happy guest, Vinney Chopra. So Vinney is the CEO has been for 35 years of Munil Investment Group and also oversees Munil Management Group and Munil Senior Living, which is something we're going to talk about. He purchased and developed close to $1 billion in total acquisitions in the last 15 years in different emerging markets across the US. He is also the host of the podcast called Syndication Made Easy and MultiFamily Syndication Academy. And Vinnie wrote 2 books, and we're going to talk about them. There's also a third book on the way. The first one is called Positivity Brings Profitability. The second one is Apartment Syndication Made Easy, a step-by-step guide. And guys, we're going to put all those links in the show notes. So if you were wondering how we started, so Vinny is actually a mechanical engineer, and he moved to the US with only $7 in his pocket to earn an MBA in marketing at the George Washington University in Washington, D.C. And don't you love those stories of people who immigrated to the U.S. with $5 or $10 in their pockets and became huge success? Vinny is one of them. And if you're not watching the video, you can see that Vinny is always with a smile on. So his nickname is Mr. Smiles. And without further ado, I would like to welcome Vinny to the show. Hey, Vinny.
Hi, Ellie. Hi. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. It's such a pleasure to talk to you and to your audience. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so glad to have you here on the show. Vinny and I, we know some sponsors that we've been investing with together, and we actually met, I want to say, was it 2 or 3 years ago?
Yes.
In Orlando?
Yeah.
In Orlando, in part of the NMHC. So that's a National Multi-Housing Council. And this is a big event, thousands of people, all the largest brokerage firms and largest, sponsors and service providers and property managers all in one place. And some, part of that conference was a little bit boring, but the fun part was to just grab drinks with other sponsors and other brokers and try and get an off-market deal. So that's a part that I like at that conference. But Vinny, if you can share with us a little bit about, how you got into real estate and what you're involved with today, and we can kick off the conversation.
Totally, Ellie. Just like majority of us, we probably started in single family homes, and that's exactly what happened with me and my wife. We've been in the Bay Area for 41 years, San Francisco area. We've been married 41 years and with 2 children, Neil and Monica, our pride and joy. That's our company is Neil, Monica and Neil. And the key thing we found was the cash flow was not there. We couldn't scale up and things like that. So about 15, 16 years back, I became broker. I'm a broker, licensed broker in California, but I didn't want to buy or sell properties. We became investors like you. It's good to just become an investor, syndicator now, and so on. So that's what opened up, a lot of doors for us in multifamily. We looked at a lot of commercial spaces. There are so many kind, industrial to office to strip to hotels, whatever. But multifamily caught their attention. And that was the right thing to do 15 years back.
Wow, that's amazing. It's amazing that you understood that that was the most maybe one of the most profitable asset classes. Because 15 years ago, multifamily amongst investors was not as popular or as now you have several sponsors, and there's several options for individuals, for family offices to partner with. But 15 years ago, it wasn't the case. The options were much more limited.
So true. I mean, our first property, I remember it took us 11 months to close, and we could not get a loan, with no track record or nothing, but we got seller financing. So that was the first, jab at the whole multifamily 109 units. We got seller financed. Yeah.
Wonderful. And that's a great way to actually bypass the It's kind of a chicken and the egg, because how do you get experience if lenders want to see that you have experience before they extend a loan, but you need one of those lenders to allow you to buy something with an attractive loan so you can actually start building your track record. So definitely seller's finance is one good way to, a really good way to do that. I want to start a conversation by talking about, the asset part of the podcast today. And I want to talk about senior living. This is something that you're very passionate about and you kind of focused on. And I know, I've had a lot of guests here talking about multifamily. This is also what I do. And I think it's really interesting to hear about another kind of different asset class. And I know it can be different, could be also a bit similar, but if you can kind of describe a little bit more, what exactly is senior living from an investor perspective and why you chose to focus on that?
Totally. Actually, seniors, as you all know, silver tsunami is another term which is flowing through USA and across the world, where the seniors, people who are 65, turning about 65, 55, 65, 85 and all that. So 10,000 baby boomers are turning 65 every night in USA. And it's going to happen for many, many, many years. So we are about 54.6 million out of the whole population of USA who are 65 plus. But 10,000 more are added to that number every day, every single day. So we'll be about 100 million. Wow. I'm also senior, by the way. I'm 69. I just turned 69 this week and 70 next year and so on. But the key thing is that there is a huge demand for senior living, because they want to downsize maybe, or there is some seniors who need assistance in dressing up or in taking medication, or they cannot cook, cannot take bath. So assisted living is that kind of senior living where some caregivers are involved. And that's the segment that we have chosen, my company and my partner. And I was really kind of sending, messages out in the universe. I believe in the law of attraction, law of the universe, law of manifestation, Ellie. So a good friend who is a very great friend now, he entered from Pakistan. I'm from India. So I came here when I was 22. He came here when he was 17 years of age. He's younger than me, but he got into senior living developments about 10 years back. Look at that. I got started 16 years back. He got started in senior living 10 years back. And now we have joined hands to really serve our communities of seniors. And we built ground up. We really believe in ground up because what we looked at was there are lots and lots of older buildings, a lot of residential senior living out there, which is of course 10 bedroom or 5 bedroom, or we call them as beds also in senior living. But we try to build 60 to 90 to 100 beds or units, multifamily, ground up. That's what we do. And it's been very exciting to see. We put movie theaters in there, dining halls, of course, exercise rooms, libraries, spa, salons, you name it. And then there are only one story. That's the other thing we decided. We want to build only one story with compounds, courtyards, so that seniors can go out and put some vegetables and flowers and have a good active life.
That's actually a very good point, because most senior living, buildings are a few stories high. And at some point, at least some of the tenants, they're kind of trapped if they have an issue with mobility. So that way, that would be very attractive for a potential tenant to basically say, hey, everything, I can get in and out. I have more flexibility. So that's very interesting because, with multifamily, for instance, you tend to think of amenities in a certain way. Everyone wants a pool in certain markets. Everyone wants a gym. And then you kind of need to change that mindset and say, okay, Now my target audience,
Mhm.
it's completely different. What do
Mhm.
they want? They want free, clear access. So it's good to get into to be basically put yourself in their shoes to understand what is it that they actually want.
So true, so true. Definitely they want, open space, high ceilings. We find their units are very different. We have some videos also. If you'd like, we could send some, links if any of the audience would like to see them. And we build them from scratch. So we find the retirement communities where seniors would like to retire in the warmer states, many of them. And then we buy the lands, 5 to 7 acres of land, and then we do the ordinance changes, we do the capture rate studies, how much need is there for how many units, and then we start building it. Of course, about 12 months, 9 to 12 months in building.
Mm-hmm.
And then we do the managing also. We are vertically integrated in our companies in multifamily also. I've done 34 syndications so far and done really, nice. And then now in senior living also, we are vertically integrated. So we manage all the assets we build. Yeah.
Got it. And you actually answered my next question about the process of managing the entire, project. So you mentioned that you're doing some research, then, getting the permits and start building it. And, I'm actually curious because I know with multifamily, when it comes to the process of choosing the markets, it's pretty straightforward. You just look for the markets where companies and people move to, where you see that migration that creates the demand. The more companies move to a certain market or state, the more people will follow, and vice versa. And this is where you're going to have a lot more, people knocking on your door and wanting to see an apartment. What is it? How is the process? How does it work with senior living? How do you know which markets are good markets? Because I'm assuming that not all markets are, were created equally when it comes to senior living as well.
You're so right, Ellie. Totally, it's a 180-degree turn for me because I've been chasing jobs growth, and
Mm-hmm.
Best Buys and Walmarts and Starbucks opening up, right?
Yeah.
Area of progress where the jobs are coming, households are coming. But in this one, we don't want jobs. We want more serene communities, right? And we want where seniors would be, like, through the different data points with the shifts happening in USA, we are able to find out where the seniors are moving to. So that's where we go to those communities, like in Florida, for example. We are building at 10 locations in Florida alone. We built one in Cape Coral, Punta Gorda, 17 miles away. We are building, and it's almost 90% complete within 6 months or 7 months.
Wow.
Then we are building Williamsburg, Virginia, which we are very, very proud of right there. And then Chesapeake, Virginia also. Then we go to Palm Bay, Sebastian, Ocala, Venice, Jacksonville, Merritt Island, all those places. So you're right, these are demographical shifts. But we are also finding that seniors want to live near to their grandchildren. Wow. So
Okay.
that is a big draw for them. They want to spend their golden years, nicely, where grandchildren can visit them and their children can visit them. So that opens up a lot more states and a lot more cities also, because we find a lot of seniors come from about 50 to 70 miles radius, from where we build. Yeah.
Interesting. And so when it comes to choosing those markets, some of them are pretty easy to understand. Florida is probably a big one. I've been hearing more about Georgia, maybe the Carolinas, because they're a little bit more
Texas.
Affordable.
Yeah, for sure. Arizona, amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we
Yeah.
think about Arizona, we think about summery weather, a lot of seniors coming there. So we are definitely moving from the east side all the way coming to California. Maybe in 2, 3 years, we'll be in California because we have
Who
so many
knows?
projects on the way.
Absolutely. I would say, without knowing anything about asset living development, probably California would be the most challenging state to develop in with all the regulations. And it's probably going to be the cost analysis, the cost benefit analysis will need to be very, very solid to make sure that it actually makes sense.
So true. And the land is so expensive, like in the Bay
Yeah.
Area. I mean,
Yeah.
just get 7 acres of land, that might be, I don't know how many millions of dollars.
That sounds about right. That sounds correct. So Vinny, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about a certain strategy, which is kind of, it's not directly related to real estate, but it's about the power of positivity. And you mentioned earlier law of attraction, and I'm a
Yes.
big believer in that as well. That you summon to your life in all dimensions what you are attracting, and sometimes knowingly or unknowingly, that's what you do. It's not that simple. It's not like if you want to be successful and wealthy and you think about it, it's just going to happen. But I personally believe that if you think about it, if you imagine it, you start
Mhm.
taking actions consciously and subconsciously that are going to put you in that path to get what you want. And I'm wondering, what is your point of view? Because I see you're always smiling, you're always happy, and I know that this is something that you also do. So I would love to hear from you how you see that.
Ellie, I find that I think mind is just, oh my gosh. I mean, it can go either way, totally, many, many ways, and which is so true. If consciously we don't really shield ourselves, that's the word I use, right? Shielding, just as if, you're eating something, right? If you see on a plate something really bad, I know we all eat bad things, fried things,
Mm-hmm.
that, but how about if there is some very negative, some, you know, uh, I just took a word, came to my mind like rat, dead rat, right?
Oh my
Now,
God,
if
yes.
if the dead rat is in the on a plate and you're eating egg, would you eat that dead rat? No, we will not. We just throw it away and everything. That's how, metaphorically, I feel the same way. Because if the negativism that penetrates our mind, our brain is so small, it's so small. But the thing is, you got to empty your brain with the negative thoughts so that the positive things can start putting layers over and over and over and over again. And it can only happen if internally we decide. If we internally decide that I'm going to look at whatever the good, the bad, the ugly, the challenges, that I mean, we all come across so many challenges in
Yeah.
life. It's how we react to them. It's how we accept them quickly and say, okay, what's next? How can I get rid of this sorrow or this negative situation, right? And then proactively see that it doesn't happen again. But we are human. We are all human, and we work with so many people in our organizations and they're humans. So I think it's just okay to not sweat it. But the thing is, having a positive mindset will get us closer to the goals much faster. We'll find solutions much faster. And if we accept it, I have a philosophy which you might too. A lot of people, what is happening to me on a daily basis, it was supposed to happen. Wow. By just accepting it, that, you know what, it had to happen. It's here.
Yeah.
All right, let's deal with it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's very powerful if you're able to do that, because many times when you're in a tough situation, it's really hard to control the way you feel. It's really hard to accept it and see the positive part of
Mhm.
it. So,
Yeah.
once you learn how to do it, it can be extremely, extremely powerful.
It is. And Miracle Morning, I know I talk a lot about that. Of course, friend Hal Elrod wrote the book Miracle Morning, Miracle Equation. Really great, great books. Eckhart Tolle's, Power of Now,
Yeah.
New Earth. It's just so great books. And, in the morning, I just totally enjoy spending that time of in gratitude and giving gratitude to all the people, family, everybody, our teams of people, all the heads of our companies and all, and then exercising and taking care of the body, the temple. I call it, it's
Mm-hmm.
a
Yeah.
temple. And we got to worship our body because health is so important. And when we start thinking those things, then we start getting away from the bad things of not even putting the mind, in a negative, but the eating also right. And I always say that, during the mouth down, we spend thousands of dollars in eating so good food and tastes and all that. But mouth up, many times we don't spend much time in feeding the mind up, and that is what we should do, right?
That's very, very true. And I think it's especially important when it comes to real estate because real estate never goes as planned. There's
Nope.
always something going on, always, always, always. And if you don't have that stamina, that right mindset, the positivity, it's going to
Yes.
be very hard for you to stick around. And because there are things that are happening all the time. And usually there are, the consequences could be severe. It's not, we're not talking about, something that can be resolved overnight. Sometimes it has, it can be very expensive or can, impact your brand or some, there's some legal issues that are involved. So having that mindset can definitely, definitely help.
Totally, totally. And again, it's not easy. I want to say to
Yeah.
everyone,
Yeah.
but it's just that the decision you make that I want to try to be a little bit positive, and then you start getting that challenge on your plate, I call it, right? Then you say, oh, what did I decide?
Yeah.
I'm going to look at it. There is a silver lining in every dark cloud. I mean, that's a great saying, but we could find that at that moment. Many times it will not surface as the silver lining. But then when we act on it and all that, then we say, you know what, it could have been worse. I mean,
Yeah.
what it is right now, it's just the right amount God gave me. And I also believe that, Ellie, God gives us to grow. And they only give us those negative challenges or all these things because they know we can handle it. So that's the
Absolutely.
universal truth. I say, okay, God gave me, okay, let's just figure out a way. There is a better way.
Absolutely. There's always a better way. Absolutely. So Vinny, what's next to you? What's exciting for you? What are you working on these days?
Oh my gosh, Ellie, I am just so blessed, with small success I've had. But the thing is, I am really, really, really excited to build lot more senior assisted living multifamily. These are A plus plus luxury at an affordable cost. By the way, all these things I mentioned, we build them and everything. We offer them at the same price, 4,500 a month or
Mhm.
5,000 a month, as the older assisted livings in the community are charging. So usually we come up at the same price or a couple of $100 more, but they get vast difference in services and eating. We have bigger budgets in having sous chefs and other chefs. They cook to order for every resident every day,
Wow.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They ask them what they would like, and then snacks and everything. We cover almost everything: the linen, the laundry, the transportation, the ADLs, daily living exercises with the caregivers, prescription service, all that in that $4,500. The exciting part I like is that, Ali, I have to buy 300 unit multifamily to revenue, give me revenue of 4 million, let's say, right? But with 88 to 92 units of multifamily in senior assisted living, because we charge 4,000 or
Hmm.
4,500, we can have 4 million revenue with such a smaller number of units. And since we build them, so they're A plus plus, very less deferred maintenance, very less, because all things are brand new, right? So the whole system, this ecosystem is getting in my brain. And I'm just so fired up to do $2 billion. I've been saying that, 2 billion in this 9 years. So that's where my focus is right now, to really have some great family offices, some hedge funds, some other people to join hands with me so that we can build them. And we build them very fast. And then when we are 65 or 70% built, we are able to start marketing and getting the residents signed up because when we do ribbon cutting ceremony, we would love to have 50% occupied, within a week's time. And then our break-even point is much lower. By the way, in this multifamily class of assisted senior living, which we are in, is at 52 to 57% as compared to 72 to 77% in the other,
Yeah.
So a lot of positive things that motivates me every morning. And I just, I get going on my bandwagon.
No, that's wonderful. And that's amazing that you're so passionate about it. I think, a lot of people would love to, do what they're passionate about. It's definitely not a given. So I appreciate you sharing that with us. And we've arrived, Vinny, to the lightning round questions, 5 quick questions that we're going to start right away. First one is, Vinny, what's your favorite hobby besides building senior living facilities?
Senior living and all. My hobbies are really great. I am a shopaholic. I love to buy colorful shirts, clothes. We travel a lot. My wife and I love to travel. So that's another one. I like oil paintings I've done. So I'm planning to do some acrylic paintings also now.
All right. That's interesting. Vinny, what's the number one thing that people don't know about you?
Oh my gosh, that I probably laugh when I sleep. No, I'm smiling while sleeping. Some people have told me, they say, Vinny, you are just, I don't know why. My cheeks hurt when I frown.
Okay. What do you wish you had known when you just started investing?
That's interesting. I mean, to be truthful, I'm only in the social media for the last 4 or 5 years now. I've been in business 16 years. I would say that, I would have probably gotten some really good strength in great partner, right? Sometimes partner can impede you or get you to, excel, right? So that might be just one small thing. But otherwise, I feel I never look back. That's the other thing. I never see what I did or didn't do. I just see what's today and what is going to be tomorrow. So I hardly really, put myself, I don't remember negative things much of the time. My wife tells me that. What do you want to do?
She remembers. Yeah. All right. So the next question we have, Vinny, is what's your number one advice for high net worth individuals and family offices that want to scale and grow their real estate portfolio this year?
I will definitely say it's a hot market, as all of us know. I mean, bidding, overbidding. I mean, but you've got to look at underwrite conservatively, but also look at where seller's mind is at. And if you like the property, go ahead and look at the value adds, put them into the underwriting a little bit so that you could buy that property. Otherwise, the people who will really get to the best and final and with hard money day one are most of the time people are winning, right?
Yeah.
We bought the one in Austin, then I just went to Tennessee. We got that out of 16 bidders. We bought that, got the offer accepted. So I would say definitely, the market is not going to be any different. When I say any different, the loans are so low, 2.66%, 30-year amortized. Who could have, thought about those interest rates, right? So please hunker down. And, I'm also in hospitality also now. We bought a Hilton Garden Inn. We are planning to buy a Marriott. So there are lots of great commercial assets that one can dig in. Yeah.
All right, Vinny, thank you. So if one of our listeners want to get in touch with you, where can they find you?
Wow, I'm all over, Of course, I have YouTube channel, Vinney Chopra, VINNEY CHOPRA. And my website is also vinnychopra.com. LinkedIn, you could reach out to me. You could reach out to me by emailing also. I listen and read every email. That's vinny@vinnychopra.com. So that way and all over, just Google me.
Yeah, I'm sure that if anyone Googles your name, you'll pop right in. And so To you, the listeners, we're going to add all the links to the books and to his website, to Vinny's website in the show notes. So it's going to be easier for you to track him if you would like to have a conversation. Well, Vinny, thank you so much for being here today. It was really a real pleasure to chat with you.
No, really nice, Ellie, to see you. And we met also one-on-one before. And thank you for inviting me. God bless you. Keep up the great work. And thank you, everybody, for spending time with us. God bless you all.
All right. Thank you, Vinny. Guys, if you'd like to speak with me about investing in multifamily, be sure to complete our new investor forum on www.ellieperlman.com. Until then, be bold, be great, keep pushing forward, and I'll see you on the next episode.